Hello everybody, this is Ospreyeye from mychartcoach.com, and thank you for viewing this video today. We're going to take a look here at the indexes, and we're going to take a look at some of the stocks that were in play today. Okay, first up, let's take a look here at Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay, we've got RSI at 45. Bulls want to see that above 50. Fasto did have a bullish crossover. It's still below the 20 oversold line, so bulls want to see that break above 20. It looks like a bullish reversal pattern formed today. To me, it looked like today's candle did close halfway into Friday's candle, and today's open was below Friday's close. So that creates the bullish piercing line reversal pattern. So yeah, so we'll be looking for potential confirmation. There was a bounce today off the 50-day simple moving average here at 21630. That is the big level to hold. If that level fails to hold, you could see a big pullback dropping down to the 100-day simple moving average. So this is the key support level. That was a nice bounce today. EMA 4 is going to be the next big level to break at 21,766. Bulls want to see a close above that level to signal potential run back up to the middle Bollinger Band. If that EMA 4 remains resistance, that's going to signal that this new downtrend that started with the close below the middle Bollinger Band is strong. So this is a very key level for the Dow Jones Industrial Average to bounce off. It needs to hold support here in order to try to keep from a larger downtrend from beginning. Yeah, because the other indexes have pulled back much stronger, like the S&P 500 here. If you notice, it did close below the 50-day simple moving average last week, the green line, for the second time, and that signaled more downside risk. Today, a bullish reversal pattern did form, it looks like. It looks like bullish engulfing. So today's candle is engulfing Friday's candle, and so the candles are working their way back into the bands. You could see a potential move back up here to EMA 4 at 243.65. It needs to break that level to get back up above this 50-day simple moving average. Notice how it's turned into resistance here. If that level continues to be resistance, you're going to see a potential drop down here to the 200-day simple moving average at 240. So that is the downside risk, basically at 241. That should be a key support level if it's tested. Right now, the S&P 500 is in a downtrend. It's forming candles below the middle Bollinger Band, riding EMA 4 resistance lower. If you look up here, there was a bullish crossover on Fasto today. It is below the 20 oversold line, and RSI is at down here. RSI is at 39, but it's still well above the 30 oversold line. Okay, let's look at IWM, the Russell 2000. It bounced a couple times here. Bounced 2 weeks ago off of the 30 oversold line, and then now it's headed back towards that direction. It's down here at 31.7. You've got Fasto has been struggling to get above 20. It's been oversold levels here for a while as the share price has been pulling back. If you look here at the middle Bollinger Band broke back here in the end of July, and then the share price has just been breaking all support. It broke the 50-day simple, the 50-day simple moving average, the 100-day simple moving average, and then it came down last week and it broke this red line, which was the 200-day simple moving average. It's currently trying to find 134 support. If you look back here in May, that was key support, and that was key support back here in April. If that breaks, the next line of defense is 32, which is the big support down here in March. Below that, you're looking at 130 and possibly the 300-day simple moving average. That was support down here in December. So yeah, so this had been trading in this channel for quite a long time, just slowly melting higher. And then last week there was a break below the descending resistance line or support line, and so that was a big red flag. It needs to get back above both levels. It basically needs to get above 136 and get back up there into the 137 level in order to get back up in the previous channel. If the 200-day simple moving average and the bottom of this previous channel turn into resistance, you could see a much bigger correction. So this is a key level on the Russell 2000. This is going to be the big level to try to hold and form a reversal. Okay, let's look at Nasdaq here. It's at 40 on RSI, and once again, it's got the bullish crossover on Fasto, with Fasto being below 20. The same kind of setup here as S&P 500 with the break below the 50-day simple moving average the second week of August, and then the break again below that level last Wednesday. This candle right here was signaling downside risk. The last two candles have lower wicks, long lower wicks, especially today, and that does show loading off of low of day. You know, it's getting close to the next big support zone, which is the 100-day simple moving average at 6164. That level should hold. You know, once again, the candles are riding EMA4 resistance lower. You could see, it come back up and test that level. That's at 6240. But it needs to close above that level in order to get back up and test that 50-day simple moving average. In order for this downtrend to reverse, it has to get back up above the 50-day simple moving average and turn it into support. You know, that's the first big key test for this for Nasdaq. If that level remains resistance, you definitely will see the 100-day simple moving average tested. If the 100 breaks, there could be a big drop to the 200-day simple moving average. You can see it's all the way down here at 5870. So this is a crucial support level. You know, either the Nasdaq's going to get really ugly here, or it's going to find support and try to reverse. It is in a downtrend right now, and candles are forming below the middle Bollinger Band, riding EMA4 resistance lower. So it's not looking pretty. It's just trying to find support. Okay, let's look at ARCI. This was the big winner today. Congrats everybody that caught the alert at the open. It did end up making a huge move with RSI well above 70. It's at 84, and then it closed with Fasto above 80. There was a big gap up open today. You notice the gap above Friday's open is the top of this candle, and then the low of day today down here at about 84. And so there's a big space on the chart. The middle Bollinger Band, the 50-day simple moving average, the 100-day simple moving average, and the 200 and 300-day simple moving average all broke today. So the share price is trading above all moving average resistance levels that we use. And so it is a bit frothy on this move well above the upper Bollinger Band. On a pullback, the first support level is all the way down here at the 300-day simple moving average at 101. So, you know, and you have the EMA4 all the way down here at 95. So, you know, the downside risk is it pulls all the way back down and tests the dollar level. Notice there was a big volume spike today, so big volume behind the move, and there were bullish crossovers on MACD on both time frames. I mean, this is a really nice breakout. In order to find resistance to see where this might be headed, a good thing to do is to look at the weekly chart. And so on this weekly chart, you can see that RSI is also at overbought levels now. It's at 71, and then Fasto is at 80 as well. So both RSI and Fasto are both at overbought levels. If you look here at plus DI, it looks like it's at former peak level. Yeah, you can see the last time it peaked here. This is where you know, it's found resistance in the past. And then the big move today, if you caught the chart on Stock Twits that I posted, the August 2016 close is the big level to break this week. This week's candle will not set until the closing bell on Friday. So this candle here that's forming this week, this could change a lot. I mean, it could pull all the way back and form a long upper wick, or it could keep pushing higher and close above the 200-day simple moving average. You know, it's only Monday. There's a lot of time for this candle to change, but this is showing where the next resistance level is, and it's basically here at about 153. This high close. If you can get above that level, then you could potentially see a run up to the 200-week moving average at 188. That's the next big simple moving average resistance level. To the downside, you've got this high close here at 125. That should provide some support on a pullback. And then if the candles do work into the bands, notice how this week's candle is busting well above the upper Bollinger Band. You've got the 100-week moving average all the way down here at 102. So that's the next big support level with EMA4 and the 50-day simple moving average both at 96 and 98. So that $1 level once again is coming up on the weekly chart as the big support zone. So yeah, so you know, fail to break through this 150 resistance zone, and it could pull back and test $1. Okay, so you have a huge volume behind the move this week. Bullish crossover here on the 1226 and 9 time frame on MACD. So the chart is heating up. Yeah, you can see the bullish crossover here. It looks like a slight, you know, slight bullish crossover here, but really, you know, there was one a couple weeks ago on the 8, 13, and 5, and then there's also a bullish PSAR bull flip here. The green dots are now below the candles. So yeah, so the chart is heating up, just needs to break resistance to head higher. Okay, take a look at CEI here. Okay, that's another one. Congrats if you caught the alert today. This was a nice move. You know, this company does have some things that it's struggling with, but it made a nice move today. I believe it has till September 5th to yeah, we'll just read about it. They've got some stuff they're working on in order to stay compliant with the exchange, with the American Stock Exchange here. So yeah, so they've got some work to do between now and then. The share price is trying to bounce. You could see here it's RSI is at 55.91. That is in the 50 to 70 bull zone, and so that is good. It shows the chart is heating back up. You've got Fasto now back above 50. Notice how it was at oversold levels for many for a few weeks in a row. So this is a bullish move there. This stock is on a two-day run here. You know, barely made. You know, formed two white candles and two green volume bars in a row, but it made just a slight gain on Friday. But today was the big move. It ended up closing above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average at 24. That was the big level that we wanted to see close above today. So it did close above that level. That was huge. And then it tested the 100-day simple moving average at 28. That's going to be the next big level to break. So tomorrow, if you see a break above that level, you want to see a close. You want to see that you know, the share price close above that level, and then that level needs to turn into support. If you look back here in July, there was a close above the 100-day simple moving average on the 17th, and then a red candle formed, and then notice how it ended up failing to hold, and then a huge drop followed. So going forward, you know, the share price has to get above the gold line here and then stay above that level to remain in play. If it can't stay above that level, then you could see downside risk and some consolidation. On the downside, if the 50-day simple moving average fails to hold, the middle Bollinger Band is the big level down here at 22. Bulls want to see that turn into support for a new uptrend trend to begin. This is the first close above the middle Bollinger Band since support broke back here on the 24th of July. So if you look back here in June, this was June the 22nd here was the first close above the middle Bollinger Band for an extended period of time, and that signaled the start of the uptrend. And so we have the same setup here. We've got the close above the middle Bollinger Band. Is this going to signal the start of a new uptrend? Well, back here, it took several weeks to make its way all the way up to the 100-day simple moving average. And today, CEI already accomplished that. It already hit that level. So, you know, it's all going to come down to this gold line here. Candles forming above signal more upside potential. Fail to break signals consolidation. And then with this stock, you really, you know, you know, just be careful heading into September 5th because, yeah, if they do get delisted, that, you know, it's never a pretty picture to hold through that. Okay, so keep that in mind. And then there was a PSAR bull flip. There was a giant volume spike today. And then, yeah, notice that there was a bullish crossover on MACD on the 1226 and 9. Okay, take a look at DXTR here. Okay, this is our last DXTR chart, and so I wanted to show you this so you can see the break above resistance today. So we had the August 7th closing price as the key level to break, and there was actually a close above that level today. So when that happens, you know, many times that signals more upside potential, and so that's what bulls are looking for here. So going forward, you want to see that 31 basically level hold, and then the big level to break is going to be the closing price back here on June the 27th. If it can close above this 34.5 level, we're calling it, that's going to signal a breakout higher. You could possibly see the high of day on that candle tested up here at 38 and maybe a run back into the 40s. So right now, DXTR has a nice uptrend going. You know, it came above the middle Bollinger Band, came back down, and now it's back up again. In order to remain in play, it needs to stay above this green line and the dotted purple line above 27 and 26. As long as candles are forming above both those levels and they're riding EMA 4 support higher, which is at 29 right now, that the signal for swing traders is to ride. Once you see a close below support, that's going to signal downside risk, and you can see possible consolidation. There was a P-star bull flip today. Notice the last time we made a chart, there was a P-star bull flip. Basically this is a similar setup to the last chart. It's right back where it was before. Is this time going to be different? It's going to break ahead, or is it going to stall out at the same level? Bulls are looking for a change in trend. And notice how RSI is back at the same level as the last time we made the chart as well. So that's really interesting. You've got Fasto back above the 80 level. It's got a little more room than the last time. Check out how plus DI is much higher than the last time we made this chart at this time. So the bulls have been charging higher. Volume. So it's always good to look at volume. Notice how volume is very comparable today to the volume from back here on the 7th, the last time we made the chart. So what bulls want to see is they want to see a conviction behind the move. They want to see a bullish volume spike, and a push through resistance. Okay, so yeah, so DXTR is trying to push higher. It's got a good uptrend going. It just needs to turn 31 into support. Okay, so take a look at SHIP. Okay, this stock has been on a great run. It was a really good move here, multi-day run. If you look here, the candles did have another gap up open today. So now there's multiple gap up opens with the 1, 2, 3 gaps in a row following the first white candle. That does form bearish 3 gap ups reversal pattern. So that is a signal the chart is frothy. I mean, it does have the bearish reversal pattern formed. It is hitting up here on at the 200-day simple moving average resistance level, which is at 113.8, or basically we're calling it 114. And so 114 is the big level to break. If you can get above that, then it's the closing price here back on the 29th of June, which is 120. So 114 and 120 are the two big levels in this chart. If it can close above that at 120 in terms of support, the uptrend can continue. If it hits this 114 and it stalls out, you could see a pullback. EMA 4 at 95 basically is the first support level, this pink line in the closing price from Friday. If it pulls back below that, the whole key is to hold this 50-day simple moving average at 815 and the middle Bollinger Band at 78. As long as the candles are forming above both those levels, then the uptrend is intact. We just don't know how many days in a row this is going to keep pushing higher. It has to break 14 to head to take it to the next level. There was a big volume spike today, so notice how it's the largest volume of the run, and then notice how there is a long upper wick coming from a key resistance level, a pullback from a key resistance level, and a giant volume spike. This could be the climax spike, what we call the climax spike following the multi-day run. It could signal that the chart is hitting a temporary top, so we need to keep an eye on that. MACD line is not too crazy yet since the bullish crossover. I mean, it still has a lot of room to run until it hits levels on the last run. So yeah, this could keep pushing higher to test that 120. We just got to see how far the bulls are going to take it. The chart is strong. The key is to follow the intraday charts. This is the SHIP 15-minute chart. And so the one thing to keep an eye on is it did close today below the middle Bollinger Band, which is at basically, what is that, 107. And so 107 is the key level to break tomorrow and to turn into support. You want to see candles forming above that level to signal that it's still in play. If 107 turns into resistance tomorrow, then you could see a drop down here to the 50 simple moving average, which is at 101. That's going to be the huge support level to hold. Notice how that held when tested back here on the 18th. And so if 101 breaks, that's when you're going to really be a huge signal that this run has cooled down. And then you could see a drop to the 100 at 95. If basically 96 here, 95, 96 broke, then you've got the 200 and 300 simple moving averages all the way down here in the 80s, between 81 and 85. So yeah, so there's big downside risk if the 50 fails to hold. You want to see SHIP stay above $1 if you are a bull. So yeah, and then notice that there was the big volume spike at the open, and the share price did close below the closing price at the open. So yeah, so it basically faded after that push with yeah. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. It's got a very nice uptrend going. Just needs to hold support to head higher. Okay, and then one more stock for you to take a look at tonight, OHRP. Keep an eye on this stock. It looks like it's heating up. It's got the RSI in the 50 to 70 bull zone. RSI is at 62 right now. Fasto is at 92, so it's temporarily overbought. So this has had a nice 3-day move. It closed above the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average on Friday on very light volume. Notice it was hardly any volume on Friday. And then today it closed above the 100-day simple moving average. That's this gold line here for the first time in many months. On a volume spike. Now it was 5 times average daily volume today, but average daily volume is super low. This is a very thinly traded stock, but keep an eye on it. It could heat up. It did get a Zacks #1 ranking. So they do have it rated as a strong buy right now, which you don't see all the time for stocks trading under $1. So yeah, so keep an eye on it. Had a P-star bull flip. Going forward, candles forming above this gold line, forming above 66, signal more upside potential. If the share price pulls below the 100-day simple moving average, that could signal more consolidation. It is breaking above the descending resistance line as well. This could potentially be breaking out and starting a new uptrend and heading towards dollar land. It's just all going to depend on whether or not that 100-day simple moving average can turn into support. Noticed it was the largest volume since back here in the second week of July, and there were bullish crossovers on MACD on both time frames, and a recent bullish crossover here with plus DI crossing ADX on the on ADX. And then if you look at the 15-minute chart, you could see here that it was strong into the close with the big volume spike into the close and then a doji. So it looks like there was some loading end of day with a nice strong uptrend with candles forming above the middle Bollinger Band, and the candles are above the 200, 300, 150 day simple moving averages and the middle Bollinger Band, which is also the 20-day simple moving average. So currently the candles are above all the moving averages on the 15-minute chart. So that's a very strong chart. That's when there was a break here above the moving averages on Friday. That was a signal that OHRP was in play, and it's been holding support ever since. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Thank you.